You're watching Leafs Morning Take with host Nick Alberga and former NHLer Jay Rosehill. The show starts now.
All right, here we go. Is this rock bottom? That's the big question on the Monday edition of Leafs Morning Take presented by Bet365. Nick Alberga, Jay Rosehill. How we doing, buddy?
Does anyone want to do this show today? 'Cause I'm not real excited about it. This is brutal. It sucks. It's embarrassing, man. My group chat just is written the Leafs off and just laugh every night. Under 500. Lost 7 of 8, 8 of 9. I've lost track, dead last in the East. What is this? And why is there no pushback? No, zero character Saturday night against the Habs. Zero. Just get, aside from one or two guys, just get embarrassed. No grit, no heart, no character. I'm not thrilled. I'm not thrilled about where this team's at. Not even trying to run on the positive train. It's brutal.
So I decided to go to Montreal this weekend. Decided to fork out some cash, watch a game in the stands, Leafs Habs, Saturday night, Bell Center, and the team I cover and love didn't show up. Didn't want to show up. I guess using the excuses that everybody's heard, they ran out of the building. It was a tough game to watch. We're going to obviously break it down. Mike Johnson's coming up too. I do have good news to report. If you recall, in the summer, we had this conversation. Remember, I pulled you on my buddy rooming with me and sleeping in the nude. He watches the show, and this time around, he slept in his boxers. So good news all around here.
Hey, there's some positives on the weekend. Nice little Saturday. Don't have to look at your buddy's horn all morning. That's good.
Exactly. And we're looking for any positive we can grab. Our Super Chat charity partner is Sick Kids. Want to make sure that your question or comment gets on the show. Hit us up with a Super Chat. Proceeds from our Super Chat will go to Sick Kids, ranked the #1 research-intensive children's hospital in Canada and third in the world. And yeah, so many alarming things, man. But I just don't know how you don't get up for a game like that. Hell, I got up for that game, and I was just a spectator. It's Saturday night, Bell Center, Leafs Habs. Thought the first 8-9 minutes, the Leafs were good, and then they got scored on. They lost all their confidence. Tavares hits the post, and that was the night.
They're so mentally weak, man. I coach all different levels of youth hockey, and you see it at that level. You're rolling for 10 minutes and they score, and then just a visible slump on the bench and slump and lack of effort. And you're teaching these kids to have character and to go through adversity and to nudge the guy beside and say, we're going here, that we're going to have a big bump up. You're trying to instill that in children. And these guys have played their whole lives. They're very good to make it to the NHL. They have all kinds of tools and assets, and everyone's got their strengths, and no one decides to bring any of it. No one decides to have any pushback, quitting, quitting and leaving the ice. And I take 3 weeks to come back from this and that, and I'm not playing tonight, and I can't go, and I can't do it, and I'm not doing that job, and I won't stick up for this guy. It's just no's, no, not me, all over the place. It's such a lack of character. That's what shocks me. I can handle losses. I can handle all kinds of things. But when you're watching and going, okay, shit, good first 10, you got scored on. Let's go. Let's throw the kitchen sink at him. Zero. They go the other way. People are going to feel sorry for you. I'm always what is your plan? What's your plan now? You don't even where's the pride, man? The cherry on top is the end of the game. Dakota Joshua, our big, physical, going to bring this new attitude to the team that we need, goes in, for some reason, finishes his hit with 1 second left on Arbor Jack guy, and then turns his back and just just gets fucking ragdolled and then falls down, which is the token, get me out of here. It's just and then you go to sleep feeling good or what? Did he not know why they got him? Does he not listen to the GM press conference and what they're looking for, what they're lacking, what they need? Goes and hits him for some reason. Then, I'll turn my back to this guy. I'll hide myself. No, slip out, fall down. Okay, fall down. God, I can't watch this shit anymore. You can lose every game if you do it with some balls and some grit and some heart. Give me some of that. I thought people are like, oh, this is the team you guys wanted. Do you think anybody wanted this shit? We wanted to play heavy. We wanted to go up against the Florida Panthers and all the guys that they have on that team that play raw and hard no matter what the situation. We wanted guys that would go up against that. I watch other games and highlights, and guys jump in all the time and come flying in and refuse to stand for something and say enough of this shit, and they come flying in there. Guys that aren't even known for that, standing up for each other, standing shoulder to shoulder. F you, running at the bench, whatever. Take a penalty. I don't give a shit. No, nothing. Zero from anybody, man. Ghosts all over the ice. And you watch, and I'm just like, I can't even finish the game. I flipped the channel of the Oilers game during that because I'm like, I can't even watch this anymore. I know nothing's going to happen. It's going to be no pushback, no grit. No one's going to do anything that's inspiring to anyone. Nobody's inspired on that team. Like, and then they're pointing fingers at all kinds of the wrong shit. Like, I don't know. I guess I'll just get it out now because, like, what are we supposed to talk about? How are we supposed to stay positive? Like, there's things you can do that show, shit, man, these guys are in one and they want to get out of it. They don't even show that, the bare minimum. They don't give the bare minimum, which I just can't handle, man.
I thought it was a legendary rant from Zach on After Dark over the weekend about when the going gets tough, these guys run away and hide. And it's so true.
Bingo.
Like, and again, I always point to you, especially in this department, but pound of flesh, like go out kicking and screaming. Dude, they got bullied by the Montreal Canadiens, who are not even regarded as a mean team or a physical team. Granted, they went into that game. They got called out by their media and their fan base last week after that loss to Washington. You knew they were going to be horny, but just from the get-go, like, it drives me insane that Troy Stetcher's played 3 games or whatever it's been as a Leaf, and he's one of the more passionate guys, and he hates to lose, and he's smashing his stick, and he's pissed off. And then I think it was Florian Jacki early on finishes his check, and I mean, not to pick on the guy, but I don't know what he does, his purpose, but Dakota Joshua's right there, and he just looks at him. Like, I know it's Troy Stecher. I know he's a veteran. He's not a star player, but where's the accountability? Where are guys sticking up for each other? Like, right now, it just seems like a bunch of guys trying to get their cookies. Like, there's no cohesiveness. They're not playing direct. They're not playing the style they want to play. They just look lost. Like, there's zero identity. And again, people are getting this whole thing misconstrued. This is what Leafs Nation wanted. No, I just want passion. I want guys who give a fuck, who care, who want to be out there, who want to play for each other. I mean, there's so many different examples. Again, not to compare it to the Blue Jays, but they love playing together. It just seems like the Leafs just go out there, ho-hum. Again, I just don't know how you don't get out there and get up for a game like that against Montreal, where they just pushed them around, man. It was an easy night for the Habs.
Yeah, it's they're just lost. They have no direction. They have no leadership. And like, Matthews is hurt, but when he's not, like, if all he can do is like get a feed and bury it with a good shot, like that's kind of it. He doesn't go flying in on the forecheck. He doesn't back check like a maniac and then bury a guy and then he's the number one guy with his nose up in a scrum, pushing and shoving and dragging people, and then everyone comes flying in. There's our captain. It's none of that. It's just the stunned look on his face. And cool, if you can pot a couple of goals, like, that's it. But like, look at the teams that win the Stanley Cup. They're so well rounded with so many different facets and so much leadership, and they have that rugged competitive spirit, like a competitive nature, where like they refuse to lose. And I know what it's like to be on that team and sitting on the bench in the Bell Center and shit, we're down, and it's like, guys, like, we cannot accept this fate. We got to go out and do something, anything that will inspire this hockey team. And nobody, it's like they don't even think of it. It's just, they're like, oh no, maybe I'll go try to like kind of skate and maybe something will open up and I can sauce it over to a guy and maybe that'll help. And it's just like, there's just no character, man. And it's like the competitive, like you say, other teams have that, and not even known to be heavy teams. Like, this is the club that, like, and I'm not even bugging like Tree Living, like, he put what he could that was available to him on paper. And then those guys have no jammer heart. Like, Nick was hurt, I get it, but like, with what? And like, just, it's just like guys just go on the shelf like so easy. And I'm not saying they're not hurt, but like, fuck, at what point is it okay to call out their character and like them as a competitor and what they want? Because it's the worst thing in the world, losing in Toronto and coming up short and being in a slump and going on a slide. And like, I always thought like guys are willing to do anything to get out of that and claw out of it and do something uncomfortable and put themselves in a bad spot because screw it. Like what do I have left to lose? There's just no layer of that on the team. None. And I can pick out so many guys. Like I know not everyone's going to do that. Like I don't expect William Nylander to necessarily do that, but like there's so many guys that could do that to help out themselves and their reputation and their career, and they just refuse, I guess, or else they don't even know that it exists. And again, I can watch teams lose and go through bad periods and run through injuries, but can I see some scratching and some clawing? Like they're so soft and fragile that I can't even be proud to follow the team and care about the team. I feel like an idiot half the time. And like this might not even be rock bottom. Like they might just keep sliding worse. Like they haven't played any of the big dogs yet. They haven't played Carolina. They haven't played like New York Islanders or Florida. Jersey. They haven't played any of the dogs in the West. Like you think it's going to get better? It's like I just keep thinking if I'm Craig Berube, what do I do? Like the only thing left is just to call out their character and lose your mind. Like what else do you do? But he's not there. I mean, that's like the last ditch effort. And if it doesn't work, you get fired. And I don't know, he doesn't want to go there. So keep babying these guys. Like you can't change their whole upbringing and core of their character like overnight. It's just shocking to me that no one's willing to do anything. Like to get embarrassed and bullied and run off the, it's like that's one thing you could at least control, even though you know you're going to lose. It's 4-rip or whatever the hell it is. Like I just have trouble. Like I try to stay positive some days, and today it's just like I have nothing good to say about what I just saw. Like fucking zero.
No, it's fair and it's blunt, and I do think they're on a pathway to getting their coach fired if that's what they want. I couldn't agree more. It's so easy to place blame on the GM and the coach and Derek Lalonde and Mark Savard. It's like, I mean, how many times are we going to do this thing where I don't know how you coach life and passion? Like they've had different types of coaches too, and it's always the same rodeo, man. It just, they seem so disinterested in playing the sport they get paid to play. It's actually wild stuff. But anyways, we got Mike Johnson coming on here in about 15 minutes. We're going to break things down with him at the Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leafs Morning Take wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to visit leafsnation.com as well. Also, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review while you look up Leafs Morning Take via podcast. Crave the Stats is a presentation of Uber Eats. Every time the Leafs play at home, you can get these exclusive deals only on Uber Eats. Firehouse Subs, Bogo Brisket Hatcher, Kibo Sushi, Bogo California Roll, Shelby Shawarma, Bogo Traditional Wrap. That's right, buy one, get one. Before, during, and after the game, Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. But it wasn't pretty, and to your point, the effort level called out again by Craig Berube, but we're at a point where I don't think anybody has answers. I don't think Berube has answers, but I did want to ask you, I know John Tavares, and what else is he going to say, comes out and doesn't want to use injuries as an excuse. Watching that game, I don't know if you felt differently. I couldn't use injuries as an excuse. They look lifeless, man, lifeless. Whereas like you watch them play hard against Columbus, play decently well against St. Louis. I'm not using that excuse. Like, I don't know if it was different for you, but watching that game, was that just a story of just more talent on Montreal's roster? I don't buy that.
No, I don't either. There's like nobody. It's pretty hard to predict the Stanley Cup winner a lot of the time. Sometimes every year there's teams that come up and it's like, holy, that team, I didn't see that coming. You know, teams can outplay the way they look on paper. And to me, a general manager is only responsible for putting names on paper that have a checklist of attributes that you know and think contribute to being a well-rounded hockey team. And you put those players on there. You need skill, you need speed, you need talent, you need effort, you need grit, you need tenacity, you need toughness, you need character, you need leadership. And you get these guys on paper. And then, yeah, the coach's job is to get them to find the chemistry, find the line combinations, be well-rounded, be able to roll a bunch of different players out there one after another, make it hard for the other team to match up against, and then try to inspire them to dig deep and bring intensity and effort and energy and passion and competitiveness. And again, you mentioned we've had multiple different coaches, we've had different styles, and it's just like when the going gets tough, like it's no more prominent than it is in the playoffs. Like last year was probably their best year in recent memory. They won the Atlantic and they took the best team in the world to game 7. But when it was kind of really tough, aside from game 6, game 5, game 7, just heartless and just like lifeless bodies out there, just doing a shift and then getting off and doing a shift and then getting off. And it's just like, you're going to get steamrolled, and they do. And I don't know how you teach that shit, like how to inspire. Like, what else do you need? You're getting paid a ton of money, or the spotlight is on you. You're getting red carpeted left, right, and center. You're like Marner said, you get treated like gods in that town. Like if you're on the Maple Leafs, people, I remember we were running to the airport after a win to go get on the jet, and it was all like backed up, and Schenner piled on the brakes, and I like piled into the back of them with my truck and dented up my hood, and I brought it into this shop, and he said, yeah, I'll take care of it. And I went to pick it up, and he's like, there's no charge, man. Like, one of the Leafs, dude. I'm like, I didn't even know that he knew I was on the Leafs. He like fixes my truck. I'm like, I have to give you something. And he's like, he wouldn't take any money. So I brought sticks and tickets and shit afterwards. Like, why are you fixing my truck? They treat you like a god because you're on that team. And that's what you do with it. Like, what an opportunity wasted by every fucking guy on this team, where you're sliding and this is brutal, and like something has to change. You have to do something different than you've been doing. And they just don't. It's like, doesn't even come into their mind. Let's go do the same shit over again. I don't care. Like, how do you not care more? How are you not a man? How do you not have pride? How have you gotten to that level lacking that much character? And again, if you would just, I can handle a big loss against a team you should probably beat if you just have the gumption to show me that you don't like it as much as everyone that's watching. But it's like they care the least. It's like the fans are more pissed off than they are afterwards. And they don't even have the pride to like stick up for themselves or be like, fuck you, nothing. And like, is this rock bottom in the poll here? Like, no, it's not. It's going to get worse with this attitude that they have. And yes, coaches will get fired and GMs will, and that's not even going to fix the problem, man. I just can't say enough how disappointed I am with the character coming out of this team right now.
Got a riveting poll, as Rosie referenced here in the chat at the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Is this rock bottom? And it's pretty much split down the middle right now after about 127 votes. Yes, 49%, 52% say no when it comes to the Maple Leafs and their struggles. As you talked about, they dropped 7 of 8. They're 1-6-0 on the road. I thought it was a mercy pull for Joseph Woll. I thought he was remarkable in that game, quite frankly. Like, it was right down Broadway. Like, dude, the turnovers and giveaways are what gets me. And it's even more puzzling. I know Craig Berube alluded to it too as well. Like, you're a veteran team, and it's the vets making mistakes. Like, it's just so bizarre. Like, I don't even know from a coaching standpoint what you do if guys can't make simple plays and they're throwing the puck around.
Yeah, and you watch the D zone and you double check. Like, are we killing? Are we shorthanded? There is so much room out there, and they can penetrate so deep into the house and the dangerous areas, and it's just like, how many guys are not paying their position right now? How many guys are not paying attention to the details? How many guys are not willing to like do the simple starts and stops to like stay in the lanes and have your standard coverage that you learn in like youth hockey? And these teams are just dismantling them. You lose Mitch Marner and you add some, like, who did they lose from last year besides Marner? Like Pontus Holmberg? Like, are you kidding me? Yeah, okay. Like, there's that big of a drop off. And yes, injuries are not helping them. And that's like the only sliver of light here. If they can literally get completely healthy, both goalies, all of your D and top to bottom six, top six, line combinations like they should be, can they start, like, how deep is the hole going to be that they're in because they can't even string like 8 of 9 dropped or whatever like that? Okay, like how? And we've been saying like they're lucky. They're only 4 points out of first. I don't even know what it is now, but this hole's getting deeper to the point where you could get everyone back and catch fire, and teams are still winning on top of you. You're not going to make up a whole lot of ground, and then you'll just run out of time. And it's this disgusting season where serious changes have to get made, and all of a sudden it's like, changes for what? How do you get better? You can't really rebuild with no picks, or like, do you really blow it up? Then you're looking at 6 years of pain. Like, is that where they've gotten to? And I don't know, like, where the blame needs to be. Like, so many people are easy to blame the management and the coaching staff, but like, maybe if you're getting passion out of your players and they're laying it on the line every night and you still can't win, okay, then let's look at the system. Then let's look at the construction. Okay, let's do it then. But until then, I don't even think about those guys. Those guys with the skates on their feet and the sticks in their hands, you better be the first one to just lay it on the line and try to come up with something to get out of this hole. And it's like no one's even willing to. And that's what just completely gets me, man.
Is Willie's act getting stale for you? And in that, I mean, like the post-game commentary, like, I'm so cool and chill. And I don't know if you caught the quote over the weekend. So you just get bullied by Montreal on the road, Bell Center, Saturday night. He says, I think this builds, character. So obviously it's tough right now, but in the end, I think it'll be good for our group. I don't know how I feel about the act anymore. Like, I think it's cool that he doesn't give a fuck and he doesn't care and he's so chill and nothing bothers him. I saw him smash a stick at the arena the other day when I was at the game. So he clearly cares, but I need somebody to rise up and say something out of the ordinary and just jolt this group. And I see that laid back approach. I'm not crazy about it right now.
No, like you get laughed at saying that. Like, I saw that, and everyone's first comment is, how have you not already done that? How have you already not been jolted by the results? How have you not already dug down and displayed your character? Like, what are you waiting for? You think the character is building, getting stronger and stronger? It's going the other direction in my mind because you don't have enough on it. Like I have high, like, for Dakota Joshua, I talked about, like, Max Domi, like, just go out there and be a little bowling ball, like just a water bug flying around, hammering everything, digging that puck out with just such intensity and grit, and just driving it to the net, and then driving your body in it. And if anyone gets in the way, fucking bowl them over. And if anyone doesn't like it, get your hands up in their face and have all the boys come flying in and just have a fucking melee for all I care. Like, just care. But they don't. They're down getting their shit pushed in. And then the other team face washes them, throws them down, grabs them around the neck and tosses them down. And they just look scared. And it's not what anyone wanted. We tried to sign Mitch Marner, didn't want it, tried to get something back for him. Probably too little too late is the only thing you could say. Fine. But everyone has said, fine, let's not give the guy $12 million. We've seen the movie before. It doesn't really work. Let's try to get a little bit more playoff components to this organization. And they got considerably weaker and less grit and intensity and less pushback and character and competitive spirit. And it's just a nightmare, man. Like, it is. Again, maybe the sliver of light is if they could get fully healthy, they could start to become this stronger team that can build off of something. But while you're in the trenches here, while you're in hell night after night, it would be nice to see the stuff that we're talking about. But instead, they just let the other team pour that on them and they just lay down. And I'm sorry, I can't handle that.
To me, like, it's unbelievable that, like, again, I talked about Tanev earlier on, but who's the guy who scraps? It's Dakota Mermis. Like, he's not going to be on the team once these guys get back. Like, that is the part that gets me, is a guy who's not even on your fucking team is fighting Florian Jacki in his first NHL game, Bell Center, Saturday night. Like, that is wild stuff to me, man.
And throwing bombs, man, with a tough guy like that's not holding on for defense. God, is that good to see? That's the one thing. And like, you know, who's not Mermis, Jacob Quillen gets scratched.
Weird,
And like,
right?
you are missing passion and intensity and effort, and you scratch the one guy that gave it to you last game. Frustrating as could be. That's the one. It's like the first time, and it's always the guy that's like the outsider scratching and clawing to stay in the lineup or make his mark on the team or in the league or something. Like hats off for scrapping that guy on that stage. There was like the one redeeming quality where you see any bit of passion or character out of anybody. And the guys they brought in to bring that and to put the cherry on top of what they need are get embarrassed physically and get embarrassed in the intensity and physicality department. It's shocking, man, that they don't have more pushback, because I know how shitty it is being in that room losing and having the whole world pile on you. And I just can't believe the minuscule pushback they have to the situation that they're in.
And again, you can't place this on the goaltending, which is so crazy, because you talk about the last 10 years, how many times we've had that conversation, like, fuck, make a save. Joe Woll, like, I felt for the guy, dude. It was a shooting barrage. Again, I thought the first 7 or 8 minutes, the Leafs were right there. Tavares had a little T-drag on the goal line, hit the post. Like, they had some chances to grab the lead in that game, and then they just quit. And then you go down 2 Cobb, you come out in the second period, just nothing. They were flat. I don't know how there isn't like that break between the first and the second, the reset, and you come out horny in the second. It was like the opposite. Then I thought it was a mercy pull, like, get the guy out of there, because it's just a tough night on the road in Montreal. I totally get it, but just no pushback. Then on top of that, the power play sucks. Like, they got a cheesy one late in the game, garbage minute, like whatever, 9 for 58. Like, we're talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're talking about a team, and I know Matthews is out, but even with him, it stinks up the joint. And it's just like, it's compounding, man. It's thing after thing that's really, really, making this team bleed. And it's like, I understand the standings, like, they're still around the mix, but there's not much outside of the potential these guys coming back and they go on a run that gives me hope they can find themselves out of this. It just feels like that type of year where it's just not going to go right for them.
Well, they sure don't seem to be getting out of their comfort zone to do anything to change what's going on. And you watch them play, and it just seems like half measures. You get the big saves from Joseph Woll, like, you get the goaltending, and like, usually those big, you have a breakdown or whatever, and you get bailed out by your goaltender. Usually that invokes some giddy up, like, hey, let's clean this shit up and let's go. And okay, third line, get out there and have the big bump up shift by getting it deep and crashing and banging and just drawing it to the net and getting something going. No, not interested in that. It's just half measures all over the ice. And again, with the position they're in, it's absolutely shocking they're not showing more compete level to try to dig themselves out of it. It's like again, half measures, man. It blows my mind.
Really does. At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as we bring in former Hab, former Toronto Maple Leaf, great analyst as well as Mike Johnson. And MJ, how many times have you played in a Leafs Habs game and gotten up for it? I saw one team show up and the other not on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's unusual. Obviously, it's a unique game. It's a fun game to play, and I've been on both sides of it. The buildings are always electric, almost more so when Toronto's in Montreal, because a lot of Toronto fans come down to Montreal. The thing is, in a microcosm, if you just look at the Montreal game, yeah, it wasn't good at all. Second period gets away from. You talk about the physical play, Rosie. You're looking for more from them, and like, you could say, if that was a one-off, if it was an odd game where they didn't play well, whatever reason, didn't have their legs, it happens. It happens all the time to good teams, everyone but Colorado, apparently. But it's more so that this sort of game where you're left scratching your head exactly whether it's power play not coming through, whether it's goaltending not being good, whether it's physically not being engaged. It's always something or more than one thing this year for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It almost feels like, not that they're fortunate, but given their record is what it is, whatever, one game below 500, that's almost pretty good. Like, they're not playing any better than that. You look at the process stuff, you look at the stats like I do, they are playing like a 25th or 26th best team in this league. that they are what their record says they are, and they've done that. And I don't think that's like smoke and mirrors. They just haven't been very good this year so far.
And MJ, like we were talking about Nylander's, comments after the game. It's like, hey, this'll build some character. I think at the end of the day, this will be good for us. It's like, you've had ample you've dropped 7 out of the last 8 games. You've had ample opportunity to dig deep and find your character and respond. Like that was a game that should have been a response. There's multiple nights that should have been the case. Like, okay, like you say, things happen, you get into a rut, you don't play your best, time to find your character and dig out of it. Like it's almost like that ship has sailed. What's going on with this group's lack of response?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm reading about. Well, that's got to be the rock bottom game. Like, that's got to be it. I thought the rock bottom game was Carolina when the attempts were 95-35. That was 10 days ago. Like, I thought that was going to be the one where after that they pushed forward. Now, there's no denying currently the roster is so hurt by injuries and so impacted by it that it's going to be difficult. But and Rosie, you would know this, when you don't have all your players there and they're missing a bunch, then what you would love is to have a system that everyone can play well enough that keeps you in games, that gives you a chance to win games. And I think that's the other part of this equation where not only do they not have the players right now, but they can't fall back to an airtight system to keep them around a game, to even out shots, to even out chances, to make the games winnable when you're not at your very best. And like I have a hard time saying that guys are not trying. I think they want to try. I think everyone's in the NHL. You're wired to want to do well. I think more than anything, though, they are not executing or maybe don't have a game plan that really brings out the best in this particular group. I wonder if Craig Berube keeps saying they're not playing the way I want. You wonder, it's not because they don't want to. Of course, they want to do what the coaches says. I mean, that would be weird if a player didn't. You wonder if they can't play the way that Craig Berube wants. They can't be sort of a dump and chase team because they're not quite fast enough. Like they don't like the dump part's okay. The chase part's not so good when you can't turn pucks over. To grind and possess it in the offensive zone, you got to get out of your own zone. The Toronto Maple Leafs this year have had a hard time getting out of their own zone cleanly. They get hemmed in there too long. And we see that game after game, some version of that thing plays out. And I don't know if it's just a question of they'll try harder. I don't think it's just that. I mean, that you want maximum effort, intensity, emotion, commitment. But even with that, which I assume they're trying to give as best they can every night, it's still not going or hasn't been enough just yet. And that is the concerning. That to me, more than anything, is the concerning part, is that even like they don't. How many games have they looked good in this year? There's been like 3 or 4. We played 21, 22. So that's the concern. You can try hard all you want, but if you can't execute and implement the game plan the way you're supposed to, you're not going to be successful.
Here's a fun question for you. Of the new guys they got in the offseason, who's been the most disappointing for you, Johnny?
Oh, see, I thought you were going to go the other way and say who's been the best. I thought it was Nick Roy, who was like sort of coming into his own. I thought before he got hurt, and I get it's a low bar. It's that I thought he was getting to the point where they were seeing some of the stuff they wanted to see from him defensively, penalty killing, putting up a couple points here and there. But yeah, I mean, they had that money, they spent it, and Joshua and Maccelli and Waugh, and I guess it depends on what you expected. I didn't expect Dakota Joshua to pile up a ton of points. I thought he might be more physically imposing in a game. He is a monstrous guy. He is like a big, heavy, strong guy. I don't know if the pace is in game is right there, but I guess I'd say Maccelli because, he has, what do you have, 9 points in 22 games? So it's not like he's not scored around a 40-point pace, which I guess would be okay. It's just he's probably not impactful enough. And I think they were hoping that nothing like Mitch Marner, but just one of those guys that, you can pluck him on your top 6, he can go on your second power play unit, and he'll sort of consistently make things happen. He's not perfect. He's not going to hit people, whatever, but he hasn't had that happen. He's had sort of stretches where he's been okay, and you see it, and then sort of 4 or 5 game stretches where you don't. And I guess because the most was expected out of him, I guess I'd say him.
Yeah. Obviously, they're banged up. They have important, impactful players on the shelf right now. Not to give them excuses, but like, how much stock do you put into the fact that they are really banged up? And do you think that this season is salvageable if they can get healthy?
So the second question I think is easier. Totally salvageable. And not because I'm a believer that they are going to be the 110-point team again. I just don't think it might take 92 points to make the playoffs this year. Like, I think the East has allowed them to stay around it long. They should be 8 points out. They're like 4 from being in, like, almost inside the playoff line. So I think that way it is salvageable. They clearly are better than they're playing. And I do think if Stolarz, and I don't know when he's coming back, but when he comes back and you get Stolarz Woll 1-2, 2-1, then it gets a lot better in net as well. So no, I don't think it's gotten away in that sense. But the greater thing about it is, well, the idea that once they get everyone back, all your problems are solved. That is fool's gold. That's not true. Because when they were missing everyone, or they had everyone but Woll, I guess, and Scotty Lawton, who has looked quite good in his time back, they still didn't look good. When all those bodies, when Tanev was playing and Matthews and Nyes and Carlo and Roy, they still were not looking like a top flight team. So it's more than just getting guys healthy. That'll help as they try to work out of this rut. But it's more than that. They have to change the way they execute, or I think maybe change the way they play. Because Rosie, it's not that hard. No systems are that confusing, right? Like, nothing is that confusing in hockey. It's just, 1-2-2, 2-1-2, read, whatever it is. There's a few different little things, but at some point it's more just executing, and they want to, but they haven't been able to. So we're not going to change the players because they can't. That's the way the NHL goes. I think they got to change the system more. I think they have to look into doing things differently in systems to try to get more out of this group, because they were healthy before, or healthy-ish, and they still didn't look great.
So are you thinking change the system, go back to the drawing board, and with this team, less of a dump and chase, less of a north-south game, like start holding onto the puck, making plays, entering with possession, and completely like going to the video board and redoing the way you approach a hockey game here?
Yeah, something like that. Dare I say Sheldon Keefe style hockey? I don't want to go down that road, but there's horses for courses, and some guys are better at playing certain systems than other. I think the idea of just chipping in it all the time, which I don't think they're supposed to do, but they really do want to play this possession game, and it just not working. But more than that, Rosie, like, figuring out what to do with the puck is almost the second step. What I need to work on if I'm the Toronto Maple Leafs is, how do we get the puck out of our own end better? That, to me, the routes they're running, the support they're offering, the way that they move the puck out of their own end, given the defensemen they have, whether they're healthy or not, because Brandon Carlo is not a tremendous puck mover anyways, that's where I would be focusing. Help us get the puck out, and then we'll figure out how to, generating is not an issue. They're scoring a lot of goals, but just getting the puck out of their own end, it is a struggle at times. It is up the wall, it is up the boards, it's in your skates, it's on your, and it just stifles any sort of pace to their game. The Leafs are not a fast team when it comes to individual skaters. Doesn't mean they can't play fast. You can play fast by moving the puck quickly, efficiently, effectively. And if they want to get faster, they're not going to learn how to skate faster in the next 6 weeks. They got to learn how to play faster. And to me, that's puck movement out of their own end. That's where I'm working on right now, systems wise. That's what I'm in the coach's office trying to figure out. Then I can relay to the team and get better at that. Rosie, if I get better at that, then I think a lot of things clean themselves up.
Always looking for a scapegoat in this sport. And I said earlier, I feel like they're trending towards getting their coach fired, whether people agree or disagree. It just happens, and that's the easiest person to get rid of. But do you feel like we're entering a sort of time where something has to give, whether it's a major trade or a coach has to go?
Not just yet. I know what you're saying, Nikki, but a couple things. One, the injuries gives them an out. It gives them more time. If everyone was healthy and this was happening and they were below 500 in the last place in the East, then you don't have that to lean on. Right now, it's a valid reason, one of the reasons they're struggling. So I think the injuries gives them a bit of an out. And they just when was Brad Treliving? Was it last Tuesday? Just last Tuesday,
Yeah.
where he went up and said, we believe in him, we believe in the process. We're not making a change. Like, you can't turn around a week later and say, well, it all changed that fast. So I think there's still more time. The standings allow it, the injuries allow it. I think the fact that Keith Pelly is running Maple Leaf Sports now does change the dynamic, because it's, there's no Brandon Shanahan up there sort of influencing. So maybe that either makes it more likely or less likely, but is different. I don't think it's there just yet. I don't think business wise, the Leafs or MLSE is in love with playing executives not to work. Saw Masai Ujiri or whatever. So no, the answer is no, they're not there yet. But if you talk to me in 3 weeks and they're not over 500, then yeah, because I don't know if the Leafs are in the spot where they can say, we're writing this year off. Given the ages and the way this team's put together and what they're supposed to do this year, I think just punting on the year and saying it's not our year, I don't know if that's a viable alternative for the organization. So if they get to the point where there are no other options, then we have that conversation.
Johnny, be honest, this has been tough, man. Appreciate your time today. We'll see if they can turn this thing around. They're in Columbus. They always lose there, so looking forward to Wednesday. But appreciate your time, buddy.
Thanks, MJ.
All right, boys. Love listening to you guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Take care, bud. That's Mike Johnson. Does great work, of course, and very analytical. And I appreciate the analysis too, man. It's just bold, it's blunt, and it's true. I mean, but again, I hate. I'm a big Chief guy. You know this. I think you are as well. I don't like changing coaches, but we're at a point where I don't think he has answers. And to me, it's wild that, Berube comes in, and of course, we're all over it. We love the fit. I think he's still a good fit. Endorsing accountability. There hasn't been any accountability. And I get to a point where these guys are just not going to listen to their coach, man. They've had everything. Babcock, Keefe, Berube. I'm at a point where I think the next logical move, and who knows if it comes to fruition, you got to make something big happen, whether it's a Riley, whether it's a Matthews, whether it's a Nylander, you got to blow this bitch up. Like, we're getting to that point. Because to Johnny's point, even if the Maple Leafs wanted to go scorched earth and call it a season, they can't do that, because we've talked about it. They traded the first round pick, and Boston's got their first rounder outside the top 5. And I don't think this team is bad enough to finish bottom 5, if that makes sense. They're a middling team. They're going to be maybe 13th or 14th the way they're playing right now, I think.
It's tough. I mean, the one bullet left in the chamber is using the injuries as an excuse and saying we need to look at this group as a whole the way we've wanted to build it. And we still believe that the way we want to play, the way we want this team coached, when it's assembled and when it's healthy, we believe in it. And, MJ did mention they were healthy at the beginning of the year, minus Woll, and Stoli wasn't playing that great, and the D were god awful. I do think the one saving thing is you need one more crack at getting this team together healthy and seeing what you could do. When they were healthy, it was the very beginning of the season with a bunch of new players. That's kind of their last saving grace. And then it's serious moves time. And I don't know if you ask people to waive their no trades or, fire people or what the story is, or maybe you'd overhaul the system. I just have trouble believing that playing Berube's simple system, and it's just a meat and potatoes kind of system, like go to work. Like, you don't have, like, it's not like the meat and potatoes system is designed for like Pavel Bure blazing speed.
Yeah.
You can come in together with numbers and just get a little chip behind. The D-man has to turn around and start going to it. You can get there even if you're not a fast player, and create those 50-50 puck battles and create turnovers and hem a team in. They're just kind of choosing not to. And maybe they're too depleted to execute anything in this day's NHL. I don't know. I've said my piece.
But I can't buy that. And sorry to interrupt. I can't buy that, just because how many times, even doing this show in 3.5 years, have the Leafs been so depleted and found a way? Like, the system's not there, to your point, right? Like, remember that I always bring it up a couple of years ago where they were missing like 4 to their 6 defensemen. They still won, right? Mm-hmm. And I can't choose to blame injuries on this run because, as Johnny brought up, you've brought up, they were shipped when these guys were healthy. Remember the first month of the season, I was like consistent in saying, this is what they do. And then November hits, they have a pretty decent start. They win 3 in a row, feeling good. And ever since then, it's the same old story. And I understand guys are banged up. I like that JT came out and wouldn't use it as an excuse. I don't think it's as big of an excuse as people want to give it. Like Montreal, you look at them, they got 3 or 4 guys out of their lineup. I know they're fringe second, third line guys, but still they haven't used it. I mean, there's so many examples around the league of teams and injuries, and I just can't get to that level. I don't know about you.
I mean, it's just the only thing left. It's the only piece of hope that you have is that that's the problem. And, teams are funny and weird shit happens, and you could get healthy and then find a spark and gel a little bit and get some momentum going and some chemistry, and away you go and you start rattling off points at a pretty good clip for 3 weeks to a month. And all of a sudden that shit that we're talking about is in the rear view mirror. I mean, that could happen. To me, the stuff they can control, they're not utilizing. They're not buying into it. Like when your back's against the wall and you're facing adversity, good teams find ways to do things, and it comes through pure grit and determination. And they don't seem to have any of that, which is the main concern for me. No one's leading the way, doing things the right way. And, Matthews doesn't particularly do it for me. JT's doing his best with what he has. Willie, he puts up points. That's kind of all Willie does, and that's what you ask of him. And you could say he's doing his job, and to ask him to be Nathan McKinnon type of guy overnight, not really fair. That's not him. That's not in him. Then you can start talking about, well, is this constructed properly, and start talking about the core and talking about the leadership. And again, I think that's a conversation for another day. And because they have that one bullet left, we can get healthy and get this thing on track. So I guess that's the one solace or saving grace you can take right now, is that they have that opportunity to get healthy and see if they can actually commit to something that leads to success. But if they get healthy and you get to the end of December and you're still this team and you're still doing this, I mean, the sky's the limit for the options here on what could happen. But I mean, like, is Tree Living going to blow it up and like get some picks and he's not going to be that's the thing for a GM. Like, am I going to set the table for the next GM? Not really. Not a lot of guys are willing to do that and to take that risk, because you're going to go through a lot of dark periods blowing shit up. And I mean, losing Nylander and oh, it's just dark alleys you're looking down, man. It's not a lot of positivity. And again, I agree with MJ. I've said it. I think this team is better than they're showing, but no team in the NHL is good without bringing the all-out best effort and grit and determination. And like, you use these stupid goddamn buzzwords I don't even like to say, but I don't know any other English words that amount to it. But when you don't leave it all on the line, when it's a Saturday night against Montreal and they're kind of bullying you and you don't have any pushback, like, that lack of character is extremely concerning to me, especially when that's the only way you're going to be in that game, because you're depleted by injuries. It's going to take an all-out effort with those kind of things, and you don't even bother to dig in and find them or present them in any way besides not Quillen, but the guy that goes toe-to-toe with Dakota Mermis. Like, that's fuck, you need, like, good for him for standing up. But again, he's that fringe guy trying to make his mark and stay on this team and stay in this league. Yeah, I would think he's going to have that. Every guy on the roster should have reason to bring that kind of shit. Not saying you got to go bare knuckle toe to toe with a Jack guy, but that type of attitude of, I'm willing to do shit here to make this happen. Because if you get 20 guys doing that, you win, you beat the Montreal Canadiens. I'm sorry. It's just, that's the simple fact of it. Not enough guys were willing to do what it takes with that lineup to win the game, plain and simple.
And I'll just put it out there, because I think it'll be a story at some point this season, maybe even the next few days, few weeks. This is not an example of the Toronto media being too difficult on this team, okay? They're not playing hockey. The work ethic isn't there. I've could count on multiple hands now how many times they've been questioned in terms of work ethic by their head coach. Like, there's a serious issue here. And I think we've been honest, we've been frank, we've been fair in our breakdown of this team right now. There's no sugarcoating things. Like anybody who watched that game over the weekend saw a team that gave up. Okay, plain and simple. And I know people always love to have that conversation. The media is too hard in this team. I don't buy that for a second. I don't know if you do.
I know that the media can make it difficult to win in Toronto, but I don't think that is the problem here this year at all.
No.
Like we've given the flowers to Nick Robertson. We've been hard on Nick Robertson for being a ghost and being inconsistent. And you watch 3 games in a row and you look and you go, did you expect to have success and to be where you want to be playing like that? And we've been on him saying, if he has any value, let's get rid of him and use the little bit that he has shown in those periods of time to try to get something back that might look different, that might have more tenacity. Doesn't happen. He realizes the boat that he's in, and he has been an absolute workhorse. Like, just watch him chase the puck. Watch him forecheck. Watch his neutral zone forechecks. Watch him back check. The last 3 strides, reaching, good sticks, trying to get a stick on puck, trying to disrupt any play he can, stopping, starting, all the hard stuff he's doing. And he's the one guy who's you could say is having a good season this year and is contributing and pulling his weight. Again, if everyone does that, like a Dakota Joshua, like what are your expectations for this season? To just go out there and kind of play kind of half soft and get some points off the backs of other guys and re-sign? Or like, you know what this team's lacking. You know what they need. You know they have holes, and you're brought in to plug them, and you don't even seem to be aware of what you need to do to help this team out. Like, total lack of awareness, or lack of interest, or lack of ability, or lack of balls to show up and do what's needed and what you are expected to do, and to fill the role of the guys they don't have in the past that you're supposed to come in and be. Doesn't seem to understand the assignment at all from what I have seen the entire season. And that's why they haven't been able to put the team together that they think it's supposed to be. Just a non-willingness to commit to certain things that they're lacking in, and they just get shelled every game. It's frustrating, man, to say the least. I'm running out of shit to say because it's just so frustrating to watch it, man.
Yeah, the big word I keep coming back to at the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, please, is purpose. Like, across the board, what's your purpose? What do you bring to the table? Joshua, Domi, Michelli, like that guy's going through the motions out there. I don't know what his job is or what he's supposed to do. Coaching staff, Mark Savard, like what does he do on a daily basis? The power play sucks. Not to single him out because everybody is accountable for this. Lalonde, across the board, video coaches. I just wonder and struggle, like, what is your purpose on the ice, specifically to the players playing the game? Like, what do you need to do for this team to have success? And when I leave games, I ask that question and wonder, like, what were they doing to contribute to a potential victory? And a lot of question marks with that.
Yeah, you think of the end of a game and you watch them get off the ice and you're like, I wonder if they thought that performance was going to get it done. You know, no matter how the game went, whether you give up a lead and blow the lead, or whether you start off well and then have some adversity by getting scored on first, whatever, and then just shut the mill. You just wonder, like, are you expecting more? Like, as a group, you look at them and go, do you expect better with what you bring here and what you've gone through? Like, really? Oh, this stuff we're going through is building character. When is the character going to show? Like, again, you could go back to some of the dropped games. They have faced Carolina, and
yeah,
the Detroits and the Bostons and the Chicagos and the Columbus, the games that have been gross. When is that experience going to build the character? Because I laugh when I say that that's what it's doing, because I have yet to see really an ounce of it besides the fringe guys doing everything they can to stay in the league and on the team. But like collectively as a group, they are so disconnected that you just chuckle after. Like literally, I always watch till the end. That game in Montreal, I flipped the channel. I'm like, I'm gonna watch fucking Edmonton do something exciting, because I can't believe that that's what they bring to the table, expecting success, unless they've just written off the fact that we can't win tonight. And I refuse to believe that. That would just be a whole new can of worms, man.
Hate to
Very
see quitting the
disappointing.
team though, right? Like watching the game over the weekend, I'll be honest, I left. The Montreal Canadiens scored the 5-2 goal, and I'm like, I didn't even see the Joshua thing at the end. But like, you're the perfect guy to talk and ask. Like, what would you do if you're whoever, Joshua, like pound of flesh? And maybe we're old school, but like we've seen so many examples in the last 20 years where you lose, but you go out kicking and screaming. They took their beating and they got off the ice. Like that's what appalled me, man.
Yeah, and when that happens, like when a team's getting blown out and they have that pound of flesh, and it doesn't even have to be like a brawl or anything, but a chip on your shoulder, F you, like last few shifts, just balls out, still hitting and driving and hit. If they don't like it, fuck you, make a scrum or a melee of some kind. Fine. Then the horn goes, God damn it, you get in the lineup and it's like, boys, we know we're better than that. We know we have more than that. And you bring that little attitude from that last 6 minutes of the third period when you're getting shelled. You keep that with you and you bring that to practice and you bring that into the next game, as opposed to just limp dicking it off the ice, getting bullied, getting pushed around, getting embarrassed. Then you go take your shit off quietly. And it's like, you guys are cooked. Like you bring that attitude right into the next game. And guess what? They do. Every single night. There's no feverish like response to anything, and that's what's killing them. And that's why people laugh at Nylander going, this is good for our group, we're building character. There's been no sign of building character. There is ample opportunities, count it with your fingers, on times where they should have shown that built character, that woke up the beast, that ignited passion. It hasn't. Not one single time, I would say, this year, where you're like, oh, baby, this team is not going to lay down. Oh, baby, this team refuses to go into that dark night. They're not having it. They refuse. You don't see any of that. And that's why I'm so pissed off.
At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. By the way, we are monitoring practice today. And of note, the big minute guys did not take to the ice. So it's sort of like an optional. The good news, Matthews on the ice again, Nyes on the ice again, Carlo on the ice. Saw Tanev skating a bit too. So guys are on their way back. But as we've been saying, even with these guys in the lineup, they've been shit. And again, I guess the silver lining, I'm at a point where I'm just so disgusted in the product that I'm seeing on a nightly basis. I don't even want to play the if game anymore. They got to go out there and prove it. Show me something. Like, especially, and it starts Wednesday against Columbus. It's Thanksgiving this week too in the States. So no games Thursday. I could only wonder what the hell is going to transpire on the road. Maybe they play guilty. Maybe that's the big thing. They played 5:00 Eastern time on Friday, and then Saturday they're in Pittsburgh. But they got to find a way. Like, they're on the road now for the next 5 in a row after this Montreal game. They were fortunate enough to be back home, get some practice time, hit the road, and we just got to see a much different tune, much different story over the next little while here.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes a reset, man. You get Matthew Nyes, he's skating now. Matthews is skating. Nick Waugh is skating. Like, those guys can be effective players on this roster. We know that. Like, again, I'm not holding my breath for it, because if I was to do that, I would have ran out of it and died before I can take a breath, before they show us what we think we need to see. But maybe those guys come in and are reinvigorated, are healthy. It's a different look, different mojo, different jam, different attitude, whatever you want to call it. And they can play differently. But a healthy Matthew Nyes, give me some of that. Nick Waugh at his best, this team could absolutely use it. Austin Matthews with his best stuff, which we're waiting for. Please bring it on. And again, like, with the Lautens that are in that bottom six that can start to piece people to where they belong, like a Michelli on the fourth line. Are you fucking kidding me? You think that's a playoff team? Like, is that's what you think you're going to win with? That's where you're at? Like, no, but maybe you get healthy and you get people slotted where they need to be. Tanev could come back. McCabe can come back. Carlo, we know, is much better than he's played this year. You get Stoli back in the mix and they start, jostling over who you should play because they're both playing really well. Like, give me some of that, show me some light, and maybe we can start to dig out of this thing. But it's like the last chance, last chance. Get healthy and start going and go on a run, like a serious run, and maybe you can dig out of this. But my faith in that happening dwindles with every performance that I watch.
Yeah, show me something. Just want to see some hunger out of this team. They're going through the motions, which again is alarming. It's appalling. It's crazy. It's wild. It's also fascinating to me that the top players the last couple games and for the majority of the year have been a 35-year-old and a 20-year-old. Like, it just there's so much soul searching to be had across this roster. And I did want to bring up, I thought Cowan had a good night. JT's been consistent. I know OEL's had his issues defensively, but he's been contributing offensively. Like, he's been doing his thing. I thought he was in scrums, like he was engaged. But again, there's just a bigger issue at play here. Like, a Mermis is the guy fighting. Like, a lot of these new guys they brought in, I just don't know what their purpose is. Domi struggled. It's unfortunate to see. But when you're watching a game and you don't notice players, especially forwards, that's why you're probably losing. And you don't know what that purpose is for that player on the ice. But anyways, we can go on for days. We're going to continue to set up this game coming up on Wednesday. They're Wednesday in Columbus, Friday visiting Washington, Saturday into Pittsburgh, and the road trip starts in earnest here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's time now for the last call, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Use code NATION. That's NATION. NATION, must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit ConnexOntario.ca. Looking at the card tonight, I was laughing preparing for this show today because Sheldon Keefe pretty much called out his team. We never saw that in Toronto. Yeah, we did all the time, but they got punted over the weekend. I know Jack Hughes is out of that lineup, but along those lines, I will play the Devils to respond on home ice against Detroit tonight.
Yeah, there you go. I got the Flyers plus 150 against the Lightning. I think they're doing better than they anticipated. Maybe they're putting the pieces together, come in out of conference or out of division there and see if they get one against the Lightning. Other than that, I don't really give a shit. I am so jaded today that I'm in kind of a negative place. So maybe I'll watch some of that hockey tonight, do a little bit of a mental reset, coach some kids at the grassroots level, and come back tomorrow with a different attitude. I guess we'll see.
Love that. And again, you don't hear excuses out of Lightning Morning Take today if there is such a thing where Hedman's hurt, Point's hurt, Kucherov's hurt. Cirelli's been banged up this year, and they just find a way on a nightly basis. They find a way to get the job done. So it's on the players. Again, it's so easy to point fingers. I do feel like we're on a pathway. I disagree with it. I think Chief's a great coach. I think he should be the coach of this team, but somebody's got to take it. And it's normally the coach in this league. And if they don't get their act together, it's going to be Berube, unfortunately. And, Johnny laughed about it, but that is the dreaded vote of confidence. Remember when I said it? Now the clock starts to tick on Berube when the GM comes out and solidifies, yeah, he's my guy. There's usually like a 2-3 week window. We'll see what happens here. But knowing, I've covered this league for a long time, that's exactly what happens. It's either you figure it out or the coach is gone. I'm sorry.
Well, there's a reason he's answering that question, right? Things are question marks are being risen. So he stuck his stake in the ground. That's my guy. And I just don't see, with the effort level that you put out there, bringing in a new coach and all of a sudden, these guys have balls and grit and character and desire to win and refuse to lose all of a sudden because a different guy is behind the bench. I don't see that happening. They've had a plethora of coaches with this group, but again, get healthy and see if you can see what you're made of. Get healthy and see what we've seen what you're made of when you're depleted, and it isn't fucking much. Let's get healthy and see if there's anything to extract from this group that they've assembled.
Troubling times in Leafs Nation along those lines. I can't believe we're talking about a tank job. Dude, we're catching up with Keaton Verhoff later on today, who is likely to go 1 or 2 in the draft beside or alongside Gavin McKenna. We're Keaton Verhoff's coming on Leafs Morning Take. We're recording the interview later on. This should be good.
See what the kid has to say. Yeah, I don't know. Not tank.
Can
me,
you
like,
believe we're having this convo about a top prospect in Toronto?
And the thing that
maybe
pisses me off the most are the Marner sympathizers that are like, see, this is what happens when you build a big, tough,
Yeah.
mean, slow team. It's like, this
Fuck
is
off.
not what anybody had in mind whatsoever.
No, they just
Yuck.
DNA, culture, I don't know. There's so many different aspects you can look at, but we'll leave it at that. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Great chat today. Very lively. Less trolls, which you love to see too. At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leafs Morning Take wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Also, don't forget the boys over at theleafsnation.com doing a tremendous job, covering this train wreck of a team right now. But again, we hope for greener pastures coming up on Wednesday. They visit Columbus. Thank you to Mike Johnson. Thank you to producer Vic. For Jay Rosal, I'm Nick Alberga. We'll talk tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews. We got clips. We got epic rants by Jay Rosal. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.